Good morning everyone and welcome to the Menopause Myth-Busting Q&A. My name is Lorna Marie and I'm going to take you through a workshop this morning. So you might be listening to this on the podcast, so I'm going to upload it there. You might be watching this on replay, and if you do, please put a hashtag replay because I always love to see who's watched it and also if it's been really helpful. So please do let me know. All right, so let's begin. Let's get started. Now, here are a few myths that I've got on the board here, but if you have any questions as we go through, please do let me know, or anything that you want to know, like I've always wondered, Lorna, is this true? If I can answer, I absolutely will, and if I can't answer, I will absolutely find out the answer to the question for you and let you know. So I'm going to start off with this one. Does the menopause mean that we're old? And I think a lot of women go into this transition thinking that this is almost like the start of the end, which is absolutely not true. And when I think about my life, although I'm not going through the menopause yet myself, when I think about my life, every chapter of my life has had its own challenges, no matter what. And there are certain chapters of my life where I'm like, I really wouldn't want to go back to that chapter. Like, I really wouldn't want to go back to year 7, 8 or 9. That was such a hard time in my life. Whereas other people would be thinking, oh, what? That's just a time where you can relax. And then I went through GCSEs and then A-levels and then university. And then coming out of university, and you feel like you're dropped into this huge ocean and you're just a little fish not knowing what to do. And different challenges, there's so many different challenges for each chapter of your life and different stresses through each chapter of your life. So firstly, I just want to say that this is just a new chapter. And all we have to do is, like we've done at every other chapter, learn how to adapt. And I personally think that this is a really exciting chapter of life because for most women going through the menopause, whether you're perimenopausal or menopausal, postmenopausal, it's quite exciting for a couple of reasons. So reason number one is you've probably got kids that are getting a bit older now, maybe, and you're going to be watching them graduate from maybe school or university, or watch them get married, or maybe you're going to have your first grandkids, which is so exciting. Or maybe you don't have kids and maybe you're now looking towards retirement. All these years of working so hard and all of a sudden retirement is in your grasp and you're going to have so much more freedom. So this is actually a really exciting chapter of life. Just like any other chapter has its own pros, its own cons, and I personally think that this is a really exciting chapter, and all we need to do is learn how to navigate it. That's all we need to do. So the menopause doesn't mean that we're old, and in fact, lots of women go through the menopause or the perimenopause really quite early. So it's not unheard of to start your perimenopausal symptoms, for example, in your mid-30s, and some people even younger. So the perimenopause is that time period before menopause officially hits. And menopause is the exact moment in time where you have not had a period for 12 months. That is the menopause. So it's literally like a split moment in time. But we kind of use menopause to talk about this, transition generally. And the perimenopause is before that. Some women it can last for 4 years, some women it can last 10 years, but it's all the years before that where your hormones are fluctuating and your body is basically transitioning. So some women find this really difficult, really, really hard time, and some women go through it like an absolute breeze and don't really feel it at all. But you do not have to be quote unquote old. I mean, you're as old as the woman you feel, right? But you don't have to be old to be going through the menopause. And most people hit menopause between about 45 and 55. But that doesn't mean that if you're younger or if you're a bit older that it's out of the norm. Not at all. I have had friends who have started going through the perimenopause at 35. I know quite a lot of people who have as well. So that's the first myth I just want to bust right here. So let's cross that one out straight away. The second one is a lot of women feel like, oh, well, I can't get pregnant now, so happy days, let's relax. Don't need to use anything, don't need to use any contraception. That's absolutely not true. When you're going through the perimenopause, you can still get pregnant. So the general advice is to basically wait until about 2 years since your last period using contraception before you then actually don't use it. Unless you are wanting to and planning to have a child or another child, that's completely up to you. But yes, you want to be waiting, a couple of years, still using protection for a couple of years, because you absolutely can still get pregnant during this time as well. And for most women, it is going to be a bit trickier. So, for example, if you go through a medical perimenopause, or if you hit it a bit earlier than you maybe would have anticipated, and actually you still want children, there are also things that you can do, and there's also help out there for that as well. So it also doesn't mean that you've lost your chance as well. So I just want to point that out there too. Okay, this one. The menopause slows your metabolism. So this period of time is, it can be a real struggle for so many reasons. And a lot of women find that they gain weight, and they gain weight mainly around their middle. So the midsection weight gain is one of the main symptoms of the menopause and the perimenopause, so the years leading up to the menopause. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that your metabolism has slowed down. And there was actually a study, this is really interesting. So I want to dive into this one like a little bit deeper. There was a study that was done in 2021, and it was done on mice to sort of replicate what is happening in the human body as well. And what they did is they removed the ovaries of these female mice to put them through basically the menopause. So they had this drop in estrogen. And what they actually found is that, number one, the mice tended to, all of a sudden, hold their body fat around their stomach. That was the first thing I noticed. And number two, they noticed that the visceral fat, this is the fat that protects our organs, increased. It's almost like the deep fat. So they found those two things. Now, deep fat, if you like, it's more active tissue. So we can break it down quicker, which you might think, great, I'm like burning fat, breaking it down faster into fatty acids. This is excellent, Lorna. Not quite. So they found that these mice were, they had more visceral fat, and they were actually breaking down this deep fat into fatty acids, and it was going around their bloodstream. But what wasn't happening is the body wasn't using it properly. So it wasn't actually using it for energy use. So essentially, the body became very good at saving up the fatty acids as opposed to spending them. And this can completely mess with your insulin and your blood sugar. So it's no wonder that sometimes we do feel absolutely pants. These things are happening, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your metabolism has slowed down or has to slow down. So your metabolism is linked to your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. And that means the amount of energy that you burn at rest. So when you're not doing anything, and I mean when you're not doing anything at all, that is your basal metabolic rate. So your metabolism is based from this. And a lot of this is dependent on your lean muscle mass. So the more lean muscle tissue you have, as opposed to fat tissue, the better it is for your metabolism. So, what happens during the menopause? A couple of things happen here. So research suggests that when you have a dip in estrogen, which is what is happening during the menopause, we have a dip in estrogen. Our body is saying, right, you don't need to make children anymore. We're going to put you through a transition. We're going to drop your estrogen levels, which is the female reproductive hormone. We're going to drop the levels. It has been linked to a reduction, a big decline in your lean muscle mass. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, so that's really bad for my metabolism, Lorna. Well, do you have to allow that to happen? No. There's another reason why it happens as well. When we kind of get to this stage in life, there are two sort of mindsets. One mindset is, I'm so stressed, I've got so much on. Maybe you've got kids that are growing up that, need a lot of your attention. Maybe you've got aging parents as well, and you kind of feel like you're split all over the place. So actually, you end up doing less exercise, and you end up not prioritizing your health and fitness. And there's another mindset where a lot of women think, well, I'm going through the change now. I need to start slowing down a bit, really. Maybe I shouldn't be doing, high impact exercise, and I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I need to start toning it back. And that's absolutely not true. unless your body has told you otherwise. So what tends to happen is we actually start to move a little bit less during this time period, like maybe sometimes without really realizing or subconsciously. So we've got this decline in estrogen, which has been shown to reduce our lean muscle mass. And also we have this mindset that we're not really moving as much for whatever reason that might be. So what can we do? What can we do to stop our metabolism slowing down? We can make sure that we are strength training at least 2 times a week. I would say more, probably 3 times really. And that is going to be using, if you can, things like a barbell or hand weights. You want to be using resistance. So that's what we do in the squad. Every single week, I make sure that we've got strength training on the timetable, at least 3 times on the timetable. It's so important to do. It really is, because not only is it going to preserve your lean muscle mass, but you may even be able to build on that, which will improve your metabolism and help with that slow. Or actually, it might even speed up. So there are things that you can do. But yes, you need to be strength training, but in order to build lean muscle mass, you've also got to feed it, right? You've got to feed your muscle. So you want to be feeding it with protein, making sure that you are getting enough rest, and also making sure you are staying adequately hydrated. So do you drink enough water right now? Be honest with yourself. Do you eat enough protein, or are you not even sure what enough protein is? And if you're not sure, drop a little comment in the box here, in the chat box, and I can let you know how to work that out. So these are the questions you need to be asking yourself. And also, what can I do to improve my workout program at the moment? So if you're not currently using, say, resistance, okay, today I'm going to buy myself some either hand weights or a booty band, or I'm going to get myself a barbell. Today's the day, and I'm going to start doing it because I need to look after my health and well-being. You know, what can you do? Or maybe you're thinking, oh, I know I always put it off because I prefer doing aerobics or combat or dancing. I always put it off. But maybe this is a time when we actually adult ourselves and be like, I always put it off, but I need to do it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to start off with 2 times a week, and I'm going to work it up to 3, and maybe bolt on one of my favorite workouts to go with it. So it's a bit of a combo. So you can do something like that. But there are absolutely things that you can do. And another thing you can do as well. So I talked about rest. Obviously, sleep can be really, really tricky at this time. And if you listen to the podcast episode this week, we spoke about it, and, you know, ways that you can holistically improve your sleep if you find that you're waking up at 3 in the morning and you just can't go back to sleep again. Or maybe you're getting up several times in the night, or you go to bed, you lie down and you feel absolutely wired, but also tired at the same time. It's a strange feeling. And I think we've all been there too. But anyway, sleep is really, really important. And not only that, stressing less is really important. So stress has been linked to weight gain, which will come on in a bit. These two kind of link quite well. When you have high levels of stress just all the time, so it's called chronic stress, where you've got this underlying level of constant stress, it has been linked to holding weight and actually holding more belly fat too. And a lot of this is because of our behaviors around it. So you probably notice when you feel stressed constantly or in fight or flight mode, you're probably not really concentrating when you're eating your meals, like you're not eating mindfully. Maybe you don't even know whether you chewed your dinner properly or not. Maybe it's in front of a laptop, or maybe you're kind of eating while you're making dinner for everybody else. Maybe you are going for highly palatable foods, like foods that are more processed or higher in fats or higher in sugar, because our body is in that fight or flight mode and that's kind of what it's craving. Or maybe you just feel completely out of control with your eating habits. But this is what happens. And it's just because our body is craving some sort of energy to get us through this fight. So that's a big reason why it has been linked to weight gain as well, stress. So stress less. Are you doing things like yoga, meditation, breath work? Even if you don't consider yourself as a yogi, or you find that stuff like a little bit woo-woo, have you actually properly tried it? You know, things like Yogascape that we do, it really speaks to a lot of busy women who have never really considered doing that kind of thing before, maybe who really like the high energy stuff, who almost don't see the point in doing it because if you're not sweating, then it's not a workout. Actually, it's so important to use that as part of your regime, not just for for your stress, but also for your flexibility and your mobility, particularly if you are going to be doing strength training like I've advised today. Okay, so no, it doesn't necessarily have to slow our metabolism down, and there's stuff that we can do about it. All right, the next one is HRT. Is it dangerous? Now, a lot of people used to think that it was dangerous, but it is safe for the majority of women using HRT, so hormone replacement therapy. And actually, for a lot of women, the pros massively, massively, massively outweigh the cons. It might help to improve your bone density because estrogen helps improve your bone density. It may really help to improve the quality of your life. So it helps improve things like your anxiety or maybe low mood. It can really, really help that way too. So HRT, you need to speak to a medical professional. You could even speak to a menopause GP specialist about taking it. And also, I want to say here with HRT, if you use HRT and your HRT is not working for you, you absolutely have every right to go back and try a different type. There are so many types of HRT now. And like I said, they are safe for the majority of women, and the pros massively outweigh the cons. And the risk of breast cancer is actually higher in people who are overweight and people who don't exercise than with people who take HRT. So I just want to point that out here. It's always best, you need to go and talk to somebody about it. You need to go and speak to a medical professional about it. You know, weigh up all the pros and cons for yourself. And in the meantime, I would always say as well, make sure you are doing what you can holistically. So as in naturally, make sure you're doing what you can holistically to manage your symptoms, and then HRT may or may not be the right thing for you. Okay, let's move on. By the way, I hope you're enjoying this so far. Is this all really useful stuff? I hope it is. Now, certain foods can fix the menopause. So you hear a lot of claims like, oh, you know what, all you need to do is you need to just eat soy, or you need to cut out dairy or cut out carbs because the body doesn't agree with carbs or bread when you go through the menopause. And it's a load of rubbish. It's just absolute trash. So if you hear anybody say any of that, just completely, let it go over your head. Sometimes when people say things like that, there's just no arguing with them. So just go, yeah. Because you know better, because I've told you. So that is a load of rubbish. Now, there are foods that you do want to be focusing on. And a lot of them you probably think, yeah, but Lorna, that's like a normal healthy diet. Yes, it is. But have a look at your diet right now. So be honest with yourself, like how many things do you eat that come from the ground or don't come from a packaged package. They don't come from a supermarket that have a million different ingredients on the back. Like even things that call themselves, healthy breakfast bar. It's completely and utterly processed. It's made in a factory. It's got a million ingredients on. And I'm not saying that you can't have those things, but what I am saying is you really want to make a big effort now to base your meals and your snacks around whole foods. Again, not saying that you can't have other things, but there are certain foods that will really help you, and there are certain foods that will really hinder you during this time as well, for lots and lots of different reasons. So the things that you want to be focusing on are, number one, lean proteins. So your fish, your eggs, your tofu, if you enjoy that kind of thing, those kind of things. So protein is number one, absolute key, because as I said before, you need to be making sure that you are doing strength training and you're also feeding the muscles to help your metabolism. So for every lean pound of muscle, it burns basically an extra 6 to 10 calories a day. And you might be thinking, oh, well, that's not very much, Lorna. But actually, over time, that's a lot. That is a lot, and it does make a difference. And not only that, like your body shape, you'll be looking leaner, you'll be looking healthier, and you'll also be protecting your bones better as well. So we've got to think about our bone density during this time, because a drop in estrogen actually also reduces our bone density. So it's really important to make sure that we've got muscle. I know I'm going off on one here, but it's so true, to protect our bones. So if you fall over, in fact, just imagine these two scenarios. Imagine I've got my arm and I wrap a heavy cushion around it, like a memory foam cushion. If I fall over, I'm probably not going to feel anything. I'll just get up and be like, ooh. Now, if I wrap the worst pillow you've ever had, there's no point, and it's like got no stuffing in it, it's really rubbish, and then I fall over, that's really going to hurt. So the first option is where your bone is basically surrounded by muscle. You're going to bounce back. The second option is where your bone is pretty much surrounded by fat tissue, just fat tissue. It's going to hurt, it's going to get the bone. So that's why I'm just so adamant that you need to be doing this. And protein is, of course, it's going to help with your muscle mass. Secondly, fiber-rich foods. This will help with your digestion. It'll also help with your heart health. So you're thinking things like chickpeas, lentils, vegetables, oats, all those good kind of things, your fruits, your veggies. So they really, really help heart health, they really help your digestion. And this might be a time when you are struggling with your digestion as well. It might be feeling more sluggish than normal. What I would say here is, if you are going to increase your fiber intake, please don't do it all in one go. Please do it gradually, and also make sure you are increasing your intake of water alongside it, because if you don't, you could make your digestion temporarily a bit worse. And so no one wants to be that person who is going one way or the other. So just make sure that you increase it gradually, okay? Increase it gradually and make sure you increase your water intake with it. Thirdly, healthy fats. Really, really good for your skin and also your hormones. Do you want to be thinking avocados, if you like avocados? You want to be thinking olive oils and nuts, all those kind of good healthy fats, or seeds. You could even add them to your breakfast, for example. Or if you have like I don't know, a Greek yogurt, just sprinkling on there, dead easy, just throw it in. Just be careful with your portion sizes on those. So we don't want to be getting handful after handful of nuts. If you're struggling with midsection weight gain and you're thinking, yeah, but nuts are healthy, they're also very calorie dense. Yes, they are healthy, but if you're struggling with midsection weight gain and you're getting a handful of nuts after nuts, yeah, one big reason why we might be struggling with it, right? So just watch out for your portion sizes on that one. And then you've got some anti-inflammatory foods as well. So things like your leafy greens, like spinach, kale, berries, turmeric, really, really good for joint pain as well, and also managing your hot flushes. So certain foods can help. And also a lot of people find it beneficial to have phytoestrogens. So these are plant-based foods that basically mimic what estrogen does in the body. So some people find them really helpful and useful, other people not so much. But you can literally just Google it and get a list of them. But there'll be things like soy, there are things like apples, berries like strawberries, blueberries, your chickpeas, your hummus, so many different foods, oats, loads and loads of different foods where you'll find phytoestrogens. So they might actually help with the menopause symptoms. Flax seeds is another good one as well. But yes, they might actually help as well. So potentially. And then you've got some supplements as well that could be beneficial. So if anyone asks me, Lorna, what supplements do you think I should take would be beneficial during this time? I always suggest magnesium, number one. It can really, really help with regulating mood and really help with sleep. I also suggest omega-3s, so omega-3s, fatty acids, and also vitamin D, particularly if you're living in the UK and it's winter, but vitamin D and maybe calcium alongside that as well, just to help protect your bones. A couple of others that have potentially been proven to work, so some people have said that they really help, is black cohosh and sage. So there are a couple of like herbal extracts that you can probably get from, well, you just like your Holland and Barrett and places like that, and probably even Amazon, but they're good for hot flushes and mood swings as well. So there's just a little bit about food, and foods that really don't help. Usual culprits: ultra processed foods, alcohol can really worsen hot flushes, caffeine can do the same as well and also increase anxiety and stress potentially. And then also you've got spicy foods as well, which may not help at all with your hot flushes. So it might be interesting to, go a week or two without alcohol and see how your hot flushes are, see what your anxiety is like. And same thing with, caffeine, maybe cut down. How much are you having? When are you stopping? Now, finally, and I've kind of touched on it already, is that weight gain is inevitable. No, it's not inevitable. It's not inevitable. There's so much that you can do. Like, yes, I've already said that our body will prefer to store fat around our tummy. That's just where it prefers to store our body fat now. Whereas before it might have been on, for women, it tends to be like thighs and butt kind of area, boobs. But all of a sudden it's starting to store it around the tummy. It's just redistributed it, that's all. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing you can do about it. Do your strength training. Make sure that you're eating a good diet. Make sure that if you are feeling like all of a sudden you feel like you've almost got a tire around your waist, well, just cut back on the portion sizes for a little bit, and the weight will come off. Sometimes the tummy might be the last area, but it will. So there are things that you can do. You don't have to feel stuck. And actually, during this time, there's no reason why you can't thrive. It is, like I said at the start, a really exciting chapter. There's so many amazing things that happen in this chapter of life. And this is just one of those little challenges that we've got to go through. And some women find it a real big challenge, and other women find it a bit of a dream. So it depends. It depends on the person. There's no one size fits all with the perimenopause or the menopause. And if you are really struggling, please speak to somebody. Whether that's a menopause specialist or a GP, or even say like talking therapies, or even talking to me about it. Do talk to somebody, and don't go through this alone, because you don't have to do it alone. Every woman will go through this transition. And if you think as well in your life, how many challenges have you been through? Like, how many hard times have you had to go through in your life? So many, right? We all have. So this is just one of those challenges, okay? But there are definitely things that you can do. You don't have to gain weight. Weight gain is not inevitable. It doesn't mean that you are old. It doesn't mean it's the start of the end. Not at all. This is a very exciting new chapter. And there are so many things that you can do about it to help yourself. So if you have any questions, please do pop them in the comment box. And I also want to tell you about our 14-day menopause challenge that is coming up. So if you are struggling at the moment and you want to arm yourself with more knowledge so that you feel like you're back in the driver's seat and you know how to manage this period now, you feel stronger, then come and join us. It's on the 21st of April. And what I'll be doing is sharing menopause-friendly workouts each day. You can take them or leave them. You can do them if you like. There'll be short bite-sized workouts, and each day be sharing science-backed tips around managing your menopause symptoms. So it's going to be over 14 days. It'll all be in a WhatsApp group, a private one, and you'll have the support from me, but also other ladies going through it as well. So everyone can chat, everyone gets support from each other, share some ideas, share some tips. It's going to be really, really wonderful. So it's on the 21st of April. It's £35. I know, £35, and you'll get my full support. I'll be in there every single day doing coaching, and the link, I will pop it in the comments here. But if you can remember off the top of your head, it's lornamariefitness.co.uk/14-day-challenge-content. I don't know why it's dash content at the end, but it is. So basically 14-day challenge content. And that's the link. But like I said, I'll put it, if you're listening on the podcast, I'll put it in the show notes. And if you're watching on Facebook, I'll also pop it in the comments as soon as I finish this live video. But I just want to re-emphasize one more time that this is not a period of time or a transition where you feel like you just have to cling on for dear life and survive it. It's not that. You absolutely can thrive through it. It's just about having, one, the know-how, and then once you've got the know-how, it's having the support and accountability to actually put it all in place as well. Because sometimes I really think with health and fitness, we all kind of know what we need to do, right? Of course we do. We know we should be eating more fruit and veg. We know we should be drinking more water. We know we should be getting outside. We know we should be doing these things. But with the best will in the world, sometimes when you don't have that backing and your willpower's at an all-time low, your motivation's low, your energy is low, and you feel a bit rubbish, it's really hard to stick to it. So that's where it's really important to have groups like the 14-day challenge, or somebody like me who is there to back you and pick you up when you need it, or give you advice when you need it the most. That's where it's so important. So A little thank you from me. Thank you to everybody who has come today and who is listening to this on the replay. I really hope you've got lots of value from this, and I really hope you got lots of value from the mini Meno series on the Lorna Marie Fitness podcast as well, and all the things that we've been sharing on our social media. And I really, really want to make menopause at the forefront and make it more spoken about, which I really think it is. I think so many more people are talking about it now, even in the workplace. You know, I'm going into different workplaces, doing different corporate events where I'm talking about the menopause, and I'm so happy that everybody is talking about it and taking it seriously, because there are so many things that you can do, and also I think it's important for other people to understand what you're going through as well. So say partners or even kids, brothers, sisters, parents who, you know, say your mum might have gone through it years ago and she's kind of forgot. I think it's really important for everybody to be on the same page and understand, so that you get that proper support as well. Okay, that's all from me, folks. I really, really hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining me.